Welcome to Emotions and Stories. Our today's story is about a mother and her 7-year-old son, and how one emotion became the mainstream of their life. So let's start today's story. It's the letter that changed everything. The kitchen was a whirlwind of clattering pots and pans as Sunita struggled to prepare dinner. The clock ticked loudly on the wall, a constant reminder of everything she had yet to do. Her 7-year-old son Arav sat at the dining table, his crayons scattered all across while he was drawing a colorful jungle scene. Arav, how many times have I told you not to make a mess? Sunita snapped, her voice sharp. Arav froze middle doodle, his small hands trembling. I was just drawing, Mama, he mumbled, his voice barely audible. Drawing can wait. Clear up your mess now, Sunita barked, slamming a pot on the stove harder than necessary. Arav silently gathered his crayons, and his once bright face clouded with hurt. He trudged to his room, his unfinished drawing left behind on the dining table. Sunita sighed and ran a hand through her hair, immediately regretting her outburst. But there was no time to dwell on it. There were dishes to do, laundry to fold, and deadlines looming at work. She told herself she would apologize later, but later never seemed to come. Life had become a relentless grind for Sunita. Between managing her job as a software engineer and running a household single-handedly, she felt she was constantly running on empty. Arav, who had been her source of joy, now seemed like another item on her never-ending to-do list. It wasn't that she didn't love him. She loved him very deeply, but the constant pressure made her irritable, and Arav's small mistakes often became the outlet for her frustration. One evening, Arav excitedly ran to her as she was typing on her laptop. Mama, look, I made a tower with my blocks. It's taller than me, he exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with pride. Sunita barely glanced up. Not now, Arav. Can't you see I'm busy? But Mama, just one look na, Arav insisted, tugging at her arm. That was the breaking point for Sunita, and her patience snapped. Arav, I said no. Stop disturbing me and go play quietly, she yelled, her voice echoing through the living room. Arav's face fell. He turned and walked away with his tower forgotten. In his room, he sat on his bed, hugging his favorite stuffed tiger, feeling a sadness he didn't know how to express. Arav couldn't understand why his mother was always angry. He missed the days when they would laugh together, when she would help him with his puzzles and read him bedside stories. Now it just felt like she was always too busy, too upset, and too angry with him. Arav had started living in a constant fear of doing something that would make Sunita angry. His words, which used to come freely, were now getting stuck. One night, as he lay in bed staring at the ceiling, once again after being scolded by Sunita and sent to sleep without any bedtime story, he felt all alone in the world. Arav wanted to tell his mother how her constant scolding made him feel and how much he missed spending time with her doing some or the other activity. But the fear of making Sunita angry stopped him every time. Even when he found the courage to speak, his words failed him, and it would make Sunita yell on him even more. Arav desperately wanted to tell his mother how he felt, but every time he tried to talk to her, his words got stuck in his throat with one question playing on a loop in his mind. What if I say something and Mama gets angry again? While still staring at the ceiling, he remembered what his class teacher had shared some time back. She had said, sometimes when verbal communication fails us, we should use the help of written words to express our feelings and emotions. The thought brought a smile on his face, a smile that had gone missing somewhere in all the troubles and shouting from Sunita. He now had a plan and knew it would work because he was going to write a letter to his mother. That way, he could say everything he wanted without interruptions or fear. It wouldn't even disturb Sunita because she could read it when she had time. The next afternoon, while Sunita was busy on a work call, Arav sat at his small study table with a sheet of paper and pencil ready to write his letter. He thought carefully before writing, pouring his little heart into his words. Dear Mama, I love you very much. You're the best mama in the world, but lately you seem sad and angry all the time. When you yell at me, it makes me feel that I'm not a good boy. Sometimes I feel that you don't like me anymore. I miss when we used to play together and laugh. I know you're busy and you have a lot of work, but I miss my happy mama. I promise I'll try to be a good boy and not make mistakes. Can we please be happy again? Lots of love, Arav. Arav folded the letter carefully and slipped it under Sunita's laptop on the dining table before going to bed. That night, as Sunita finally shut down her laptop, she noticed a piece of paper. Curious, she unfolded it and began to read. With every word, her heart sank. By the time she finished, tears streamed down her face. She hadn't realized how deeply her actions were affecting Arav. She sat there clutching the letter, her mind replaying every moment she had snapped at him. The hurt in his eyes, his silence afterwards, it all came back rushing, and the guilt was consuming her. How had she let this go so far? When slight irritations had become an angry outburst, she just couldn't understand. Arav was just a child. He deserved love and patience, and not the sharp edge of her anger and frustrations. The next morning, Sunita woke up early and made Arav's favorite breakfast: pancakes with chocolate syrup and strawberries. When Arav came to the table, his eyes widened in surprise. "Good morning, champ," Sunita said, smiling warmly. "I made your favorite breakfast." Arav hesitated and then slowly climbed into his chair. "Is it a special day, Mama?" "Yes," Sunita said, kneeling down beside him. "It's the day when I say I am so sorry. I read your letter, Arav, and you're right. I've been too angry lately, and it's absolutely not your fault." Holding her ears, she said, "I am so sorry for yelling at you. You're the most important person in my life, and I love you more than anything. Listening to this, Arav's eyes filled with tears and he threw his arms around her. I love you too, Mama. From that day on, Sunita made a conscious effort to change. She started setting boundaries at work, ensuring she wasn't always overwhelmed. She carved out time to spend with Arav, whether it was helping him with his homework, building block towers, or simply listening to him talk about his day. There were still moments of frustration. Parenting wasn't perfect, but Sunita learned to take a breath and respond with patience instead of anger. Whenever she felt her old habits creeping in, she would think of Arav's letter and remind herself of what truly mattered. Weeks later, Arav came running to her with a new drawing. Look, Mama, it is us at the park. Sunita stopped what she was doing and took the drawing and studied it carefully. There they were, hand in hand, smiling under a big sun. It's beautiful, Arav, she said, giving him a tight hug. Now, let's make this drawing real. How about we go to the park after lunch? Arav started jumping. Really? Really? Yes, really, Sunita said. And as they played at the park that afternoon, her laughter mixing with his, she felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in months. She knew she wasn't just working towards a better future for them, she was living it now. The letter had changed everything, not just for Arav but for Sunita too. It reminded her that love and understanding could heal even the deepest of wounds, and that no task was more important than the happiness of her child. And a child can never be the source or a place where you take out your anger and frustration. That day onwards, they filled their lives with happiness and laughter. I hope you enjoyed today's story, and maybe somewhere it gave you a realization that when we take out our anger on our loved ones, we're leaving very deep scars on them. I hope you find ways to manage your anger and start living a better life. Do let us know in comments how this story has helped you realize on how to manage your anger. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.